Hi, fashion dolls. I am back. I am back. I am back. It is Transformation Tuesday, March 21st, and welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. It feels so good to be back, and I hope you guys are doing well. We're going to do a mental check in before I start off this interview. How am I doing? I am doing wonderful. I feel rejuvenated. We had a show scheduled yesterday, but we're going to reschedule our interview with DeAndre. So we're going to set something up. So make sure you guys are staying tuned for that. But today's special guest has been featured on shows like BMF and also Atlanta season 2. So make sure you guys stay tuned for a very exclusive interview with our very special guest today, Brandon Horton. I hope you guys all are doing wonderful. I'm feeling great, and I hope you guys feel great as well too. I'm super excited. So without further ado, let's welcome our very special guest, Brandon Horton, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's welcome him in. Let me go ahead and share this live with Brandon so that we can dive right into this interview, you guys. All right, are you guys excited? We have a great show lined up for y'all today. All right. And of course, it is International Women's History Month. So I'm super excited. It's celebrating women and the achievements that we have brought to the United States. We've done so much contributions for the world. So, and tomorrow joining me, we have Kent Saunders. So make sure you guys stay tuned for tomorrow's show as well, too. It feels good to be back. I feel rejuvenated. I feel good. And thank you all for checking on me. I've just been under a rock a little bit. I just had to take some time mentally, make sure that I'm good and together. Protect your peace. That's more than anything. So without further ado, let's kick off this interview with our very special guest today, ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Horton. Hello, hello. Welcome
Hey,
to
how
the
you doing?
show. Wonderful. How are you?
I'm very well. Hold on one second. I'm gonna adjust something real quick. All right, let's go.
All right, it's such a pleasure to have you here. So before we kick off this interview, how has the year 2023 been going for you thus far?
It's been a roller coaster. It's actually been up and down. I can't. I'm really blessed that it's been this type of year because it started off in a really good place. It's only gone, to heights that I couldn't even imagine, and I think I'm about to hit new heights as well as these months are gonna pass by. So, 2023 has been a year of a lot of acceptance, a whole lot of figuring out some stuff about myself and figuring out and finding out a lot of things about the people around me too. So this is a good year. It's a great year. I couldn't ask for anything better.
And it's great to have you here. It's great that the year is going well.
Yeah.
So let's get right into this journey. Let's
Yes.
start way back when. So growing up, where did you grow up, and did you always knew that acting was something that you wanted to get into?
All right, so I grew up in Huntsville, Alabama, which I'm still here now.
Okay.
And did I know that acting was a calling? It was actually something that I knew was in my bones, but I didn't know what it was. So actually being able to put on and perform for your aunts and uncles and stuff like that at parties, that was one thing that I did. I like to ham it up. So that's one thing that I like to do. And then all of a sudden, that turned into getting on a theater stage and actually being in front of people and seeing that I'm actually good at it. So, from there, I just started to embrace it, started to get the tutelage that I needed. And I mean, the rest is history. I played football and then I got back into it. But, it's never too late to get back into it and to continue on with your journey.
Definitely. And one of my things that I always tell people all the time is that it's never too late to follow your passion and go
Absolutely.
whatever your heart's desire.
That's right.
Follow through passion like the fire.
Right. And that's one thing I tell everybody. I tell my athletes, I tell anybody who talks to me, they say that I'm a little bit too positive these days. But I try to tell
Yeah.
everyone, man, your passion is something that you can't deny it, and you can't run from it, and it's gonna chase you until you succumb to it. And I think that's something that being really consistent in my life with being passionate about a few things. And, I call it, eating from the table that that's been laid out in front of me. So I'm just going to eat from whatever table's right here in front of me. And if it's four, then I'm going to pick and choose from each if need be. So, I try my best to do my best and with everything that I do. And that's acting, that's, mentoring these kids, mentoring anybody that comes across my path. I just try to do my best.
Absolutely. And there are so many people who want to get into the acting business not knowing the back end of the work, that the willpower that goes with
Oh
into
my
it.
gosh, yeah.
So you said you mentor kids as well too. So what advice would you give to young individuals that are wanting to get into the acting and directing aspect of it? Because it's a lot that goes into it. People think, oh, well, I'm an actor. No,
Yeah.
it's a lot more.
As these young kids come and ask me, they see me on TV and they see me doing interviews and they see me, garnering attention. With that attention, it comes, sacrifice of time. It comes sacrifice of, events with your family and things like that. But as a young kid, I would tell anybody coming into this is that, you kind of got to keep your focus on what you want to do. I think, keeping, staying true to yourself, staying true to what you want, staying true to what you're taught, and never stop learning. I see a lot of actors get into it, and I learn from all the old heads. I talk to a lot of them, and they always tell me that there's one thing that you can't do, and that's what you can't stop learning. Because even, these actors are, 50, 60 years old, they're still learning things about themselves in this art. So this is an expression, and your expression changes as you get older. So you learn how to pull that out of you, and you get different techniques and things like that. So I tell everyone, all these young actors that are coming up, never stop learning. I stay on the internet. I stay into these acting courses. I stay with my acting coach all the time. He gets tired of me, but it's okay. I just want to keep, I want to keep my sword sharpened, from when, the biggest times come up that I'm ready for it. I'm ready to perform.
Yes. Now, if you could change one thing about the industry, because I had this discussion with another actor today, we're having to climb so many hurdles and obstacles as creators of color. So if you could change one thing about the industry, what would that one thing be?
You know what? I think the industry is changing itself. I don't think I would change anything. I think they're shifting along with the times, and you see these strikes that go on. And I think now we recognize, as creatives, we recognize that we have some power as well. Not only can we come together, in the union and actually say, okay, this isn't fair, this is what we want, and then they actually hear us. But being people of color, there's a there's a silent society of us that kind of band together, and we lean on each other. And if we need something done, we kind of push the button on, try to get around the right ways or get around the right people, and try to get, the inequality that comes into the casting room sometimes, get that eradicated. And, that's just going to be something that's going to be a hurdle, and it's going to be a battle each and every day. But the only thing we try to do is we try to leave no doubt in that casting room. Every time we go in, we try to make sure that we do our best. Our darndest. And we try to, lay the foundation for those that come, and that's our responsibility. But, the hurdle of, overcoming the skin color, for them to see our talent is always blinding to them sometimes. But you can't, sometimes they can't, deny the talent. They can't deny the talent, and they can't deny the look. So it is what it is. But there's always going to be battles for us as people of color. But the right thing to do is to go in prepared. Don't go in high and mighty. Don't go in too cocky, but go in super confident that you're gonna do your thing. So
Yes.
that's one thing that I tell people.
Absolutely. And we're coming a long way. So many directors
Yeah.
and producers and actors that are just coming up that are Black, because we know that
Right.
in this business, we've had so many no's and so many doors closed. I know
Mm-hmm.
I had to
Yeah.
experience doors closed in my face. And
Absolutely.
I faced so much from misogyny, all of these things. But
Yeah.
for us as people of color, the shift is happening. So I definitely agree with you on that
Absolutely.
100%. Let's
Absolutely.
get on a lighter note here because I got introduced to you through BMF
Yeah.
and also Atlanta season
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
So tell us, what was it like getting the call back to be on BMF and
You
Atlanta?
know, those two callbacks were really big for me. And the first one was Atlanta. To believe it or not, I'm going to tell you a little side story. I wasn't going to take it because I had some more prior obligations. But I think upon further reflection, it was the right thing to do at that time. And so, I mean, Atlanta was the best. It was such a good experience. I got to talk to Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, as y'all see him. I got to speak with him a couple of times. He's a cool guy. The whole set was cool. My my role in it was a little bit intimate, but I'm glad that they left a lot of it out. I promise you, because I wasn't wanting to see the world to see all of it. But it's art. They did it a really good way. They did it in a very artistic way. But Atlanta was a great experience. A very long day, but a really great experience. BMF, it was nothing but love from them. You get to, I think on BMF, I got to sit down and actually speak with a lot of the stars of that of that episode, and they gave me a lot of game. I think it helps me kind of maneuver through. And when I talk about that band of society of people who can actually help you, these are some guys that are trying to maneuver through the same waters as I am. They're just a few steps ahead, but they see that they can kind of bring me on. But it was a really good experience. BMF was amazing. I got to see some really cool cars. I got to meet some really great people, and hang out in a really, really nice home. So it was a really good experience.
Now, you also competed on, well, you were on Ellen's Game of Games, and I
I
see you
was.
have a very competitive spirit. So it
Yes.
goes back to what you said in the beginning
Hmm.
of the interview with played sports. So
Yes.
going on to Ellen's Game of Games season 7,
Yeah.
episode 7, season 2, excuse me.
Yeah.
So what was that like for you being on there?
Um, that experience, that started everything, honestly. So when I got on to that, I didn't know. They called maybe 2 weeks prior to me actually flying out to LA, and they were
Wow.
like, "Hey, man, if you want to be on episode 7, season 2, then go ahead and accept this. They pay for everything. They give you the VIP treatment. It was a great experience. And I kind of impressed. I kind of figured out then that I can impress a casting director, that I know how to handle myself in front of people. I even actually got to speak to Ellen a couple of times, and she was cool, super short, really nice. She touched my left hand. I didn't want to wash it for a week, but she was a really cool lady, and she showed nothing but love. But the whole process lasted probably about 2 or 3 months for me to get on there. My agent at the time did a really good job of trying to get me in the right doors, and I think it was where the bug really bit me the hardest, and I was like, yeah, I like being in front of the lights like this.
Okay. Okay, and then it just took off from there. You've also done some modeling as well too,
Yeah,
and print ads.
yeah,
So well, we know that there's a big difference between being in the fashion world
yes,
and acting world. Which do
yeah.
you prefer the most?
You know what? I prefer the acting, but they complement each other. When I
Yeah.
first started doing this, and I was going through all these seminars and things, they said if you're a great actor, it can help you be a great model, and vice versa. So I use both of them. Do I like staying? I like being in front of the camera. Like I love being in front of the camera. I love talking to people. I love interaction, and this is something that I love to. It's all a form of expression. So if there is a camera, if there is some way that I can express how I feel, a constructive way of expressing how I feel, then I try to do that. But out of the two, I love acting. I love trying to get, actually garnering the emotion of what someone wrote on a piece of paper and I get to make a person feel exactly what I want them to feel. So that's something that I love doing. But I mean, taking pictures is cool. It's all great. But, out of the two, I love acting.
And you're a family man. So how do you find that balance with the two? Because I know that being in this business, even for me, I
Mhm.
understand
Yeah.
hosting this platform 5 days a week and then having to balance it out with family life. What is that like for you? How do you find the balance in between
You
family
know, it's
and then
it's a, it's a lot of give and take. I mean, I have someone who really understands that I'm I'm kind of stubborn at times, kind of stubborn, a little bullheaded, a little too focused. But I try. At the end of the day, trying to balance them both. We just try to do the best we can with it. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be totally understandable because I've missed parties. I've missed a lot of things. I missed a whole bunch of events that I wanted to go to. But thank God for interaction like this, for like Instagram and, FaceTime and things of that nature that can keep you connected. But I think, having that balance is still something I think everybody kind of searches for, especially where I am right now, where I'm starting to get a whole lot of callbacks and I'm having to go places and travel a lot more frequently. But, we just talk it out, try our best to, understand the situation and then go from there.
absolutely. Studio One Expression says, "Hi, Brandon."
Yeah, what's up? How you doing? They're good people. Those are nice. Those are great people. I love them.
And how does it feel to have that support system backing you 100% with your family and everything?
Yeah.
It's a great feeling. So for you, how does it feel?
It's a blessing to have a support system. My family understands exactly who I am, and that's one thing that they always understood. So when I kind of embarked on this journey, they were like, "You're going to be great at it because you've been doing it for your whole life." So, it's the support system of having my family, my wife, friends, and friends and outside family, my friends. Everybody is kind of like lumped into one big family. And without that type of support, there have been days where I wanted to stop, especially towards the beginning of everything. I started getting a lot of no's. And, if I didn't lean on these types of people, it would have been detrimental to my career. So I'm glad that I've had that support system, and it continues to grow. It's more like a society. It's a community of people. Just like Tobias, he was actually commenting right now. He's one of the people who came in. I didn't even know this man from Adam, but he came in and he actually, he was one of those guys that I can continuously talk to each and every day if I needed to. But we kind of conversed, and that's a support system that we have, and we continuously have that. But it's the most important thing because I want to give up 90% of the time because I hear no a lot. But at the end of the day, they kind of bring me back down to earth.
And it's very likely that you find that in this business
Yeah,
with everything that is going on. Everybody's so competitive, but it's amazing to have someone who's right there that does the same thing with you that's going
yeah,
to be like, okay, you got this.
absolutely.
You're going to do great. And Tobias says, dream big, bro. Proud of your
Yeah,
grind.
thank you. It's like, people like him, um, like Tobias, I have, like, when I meet people on sets, I mean, we're all going through the same thing, honestly, and we're all going through the same strife. We're all going through the same struggle. But sometimes actors like to internalize it. I know I do. I just internalize all my feelings, and that's what makes us kind of great at what we do sometimes. But to hear that people are going through these things, even as bad as it is, it's kind of it's like a hug. I can't even explain it, that we kind of talk it out and we kind of let everybody know that we're going to be okay. And, that the dream that we dream can actually be a reality. So, it's one thing that keeps us going.
Absolutely. That support circle, that foundation, those people that are there backing you and saying,
Yeah.
you got this, and we support you 100%. So, is there
Hey, May.
anything
Thank you.
else
I'm sorry.
that you would like your supporters, your followers to know about the level of willpower that it takes to
Oh.
become this part in your life, in your prime life?
A lot of praying, a lot of praying, a whole
Yes.
lot of focus, a whole lot of doing exactly what people don't want you to do. This is one thing that I try to keep my focus on, because there are a lot of times that people try to sway you from doing exactly what you feel in your heart you need to be doing. So that's one thing. I always go with my gut. I always go with how I feel. I don't think I'm unintelligent. So I go with how I feel. I go with what I believe is true, and I stay true to that. I stay true to that feeling, and I just keep pressing on towards whatever mark is, out there for me, and I think it's within reach now. I think it's almost there, and I can't stop now. So, along with all the distractions that you just got to keep pressing on. So, having the willpower to actually stay on your course is the hardest thing, but you got to stay diligent. You have to stay focused.
Absolutely. And you said something that stood out, which is I had to stay true to myself. And I say
Yeah.
this all the time in all of my shows. Originality is key. You are your own person, I'm my own person. And I believe that
Yeah.
everybody should be original and authentic in who they are. And I say this also all the time, that God divinely created you in his image of what he wanted you to be. So you
Right.
were created uniquely and divinely in God's mold. And that's
That's
the way
right.
I see it.
That's right.
Everybody has their own identity when it comes to acting. For me, hosting this platform is other people who do the same thing, like my brother K Tooks, like my brother Jay Evans, and so many
Yeah.
others who also have platforms. I
Right.
do something that sets me aside from the other. And I've learned also this: don't compare yourself. Stop comparing
Absolutely.
yourself to people.
That's
Be
right.
your own person. Originality is key. So what people
Yeah.
see as original and authentic will draw them and attract them in. And I have that here. It's like we all have a light inside of us.
That's exactly right. And you can't let anybody diminish that light. So not only are you using your platform, like, you're changing people's lives too. Like, you don't even understand that. You don't understand how you touch people's lives until it's like the end of the road, and they're like, "Hey, man, did you know that I saw you and I was peeking around the corner, but you didn't see me watching you, but you're always there." So that's something that I hold on to. So with all my athletes, I try to carry myself as a man. I just try to carry myself as righteous as I can and do the right thing. But this is something that I let my light shine, and I can't. Nobody condemn that, and somebody, people have tried, but I've been really diligent and really bullheaded about it, about protecting that, and that's something that my parents put into me. They put, a little bit of pride and a whole lot of humbleness into me. So, that pride protects it, but the humbleness, the humble part of me is what shines brightest, though.
Okay. All right. All right, Fashion Dolls, it is time for our games here with Brandon, and then we're going to take some questions from the audience. And you guys know that it's Women's History Month, so all throughout the month of March, we're going to be celebrating some amazing women and the accomplishments that we brought to this world. All right, so we're going to give you a fact on today's woman that we're honoring and the final thought, and
Okay.
we're going to wrap up. All right,
All right.
Fashion Dolls? So we're going to do something called the Rapid Five. And Brandon has to tell me 5 things that he can't live without. It can be his favorite drink, his favorite football team, his
Oh,
favorite
man.
food, family, whatever it may be that it runs on his mind. And then the next one we're going to do something is called turning the tables, because I see a lot of new faces here and everybody's like, who is she? Who are you? So you guys are going to kind of get to know a little bit about me through Turn the Tables. And this is where my guests get to ask me questions. So I don't know
Oh,
what Brandon is going to ask me. So my guests get to ask me as many questions, fashion-wise, beauty-wise, whatever they want to know.
all right.
So let's start off with the rapid five. What are 5 things that Brandon can't live without?
Brandon can't live without alkaline water. Brandon can't live without cheetahs. I love cheetahs. Nobody knows that. Brandon can't live without books. Brandon cannot live without his dog, and Brandon cannot live without God in his life.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. I know wife is somewhere punching the air. She was like, oh, you better say me first. So we sorry if you're watching, wife. I don't like to use the word humble. The definition isn't what I feel I should do. Ooh,
Oh,
that is deep, Nate.
that's
Right.
deep. But you know what? I think humble is kind of putting yourself aside, and it doesn't, it's kind of being, it's not putting, it's, I understand what you're saying. I get that statement. But being humble is one of the things that it's like a selfless act. So I'm a very selfless person.
Mm.
Anybody that knows me, my cousin is here actually. Hey girl, how you doing? She's here. She knows that I'm a very selfless person. So kind of being humble is like being a selfless person, is being a servant to, you know, whoever needs you. That's not putting yourself above anybody. Knowing that somebody is in need of anything is an act of humbleness, in my opinion. It's putting yourself aside. So I get it all. I understand. People have their own definitions, but that's one of the things that I've always been brought up on. You help out, you help people when they need it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's so many people out here that want to get into this business, or just in general, that want to know some things. You educate and you ask people, because there's so many people out here that will be willing to help you along the way. Don't be
Yeah,
afraid to ask for a helping hand. And I've had to learn to swallow my pride and reach out to people for advice. Well, I'm always the one that in the group of friends that's always giving
yeah,
people advice.
yeah.
But now I've learned to feel comfortable with going to ask people for advice.
That's right.
So I had to swallow my pride to do it. All right, Fashion
Swallowing
Gold.
pride. That's one of the hardest things to do. That's one of the hardest things to do. But once you get your pride out of the way, it makes room. Oh my gosh, it makes room for a lot of blessings. So,
Absolutely.
well, Kaylee, she knows I love my dog. So there you go.
All right, Fashion Dolls, it is time to turn those tables. Are you guys ready? So this is me cutting the velvet rope and allowing people in to get to know who Miss Stevie, the hostess. All
Yeah.
right, for those of you who are new, who are just watching the platform. All right, so I'm going to pass it on down to Brandon here. Brandon is going to ask me some questions. I have no idea what he's going to ask me.
How many
It could
questions
be
do
anything.
I have? How many questions do I have to ask you?
As many as you want. If you want to do 5,
Oh,
that's fine.
all right. I'll tell you what. Have you seen the movie The Lyric?
I haven't seen it yet. I have to check it out.
You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. Have you? How long have you been hosting?
I started Style by Stevie back in 2016,
Really?
right after high school, believe it or not. So I would have still been in my 20s. Now I'm pushing 30. So my goodness, it's been a long time. And to
Yeah.
see the growth within this platform, and I would go back and look at some of the old footage of when I've started, then up until now,
Hmm.
it's just like, wow, you've grown so much. You've learned so much from experience and just past relationships and life.
Biggest love in your life right now?
My biggest love, I would have to say God.
There we
I
go.
can't do it without him. God and my family, I can't do it without him. And I have such a great support circle around me.
Yes.
And a lot of people feel like you have to have a lot of people, a whole entourage behind you. Me, my circle is perfect just the way it
Right.
is. And that is family and close friends who understand me. Like my girlfriend Felicia just texted me
Yeah.
during our interview, and I have to text her back afterwards. So it's great to have those people around you 100%.
Good. What's your favorite food? I'm going
My
generic right now.
food, I love pepperoni pizza, and I know it's bad for you, but it's a guilty pleasure of mine.
um, when's the last time that you cried?
Ooh, I wanted to yesterday, but I said, you know what? Talk about it, write about it. So
Right.
I've cried for so long throughout my life, through everything that I've been through. I'm just like, I
Yeah.
can't cry.
That's
I'm
right.
happy. I'm in a place where I'm content, and I've learned to protect my peace and just value and be still and be in the
Yeah.
moment. So yeah,
All right. Last question. What's your biggest pet peeve?
my biggest pet peeve is when people are not on time. I am punctual with everything that I do. And I realized that in this business, you have to be on time for
Absolutely.
everything because directors, producers, they look at that and they take
Hmm.
that into consideration, or if they're going to cast you for their project. So make sure
That's
you're on
right.
time for set call and everything. And I've made it my business to be on time for interviews and everything. Yeah.
Absolutely. Punctuality is king. Punctuality will get you in some doors. That's my little
Yes.
tidbit.
Absolutely. And my teacher told me once that procrastination, why put off the day what you can do tomorrow? Go ahead and do it now. So I like to try to get things done early and in advance. So yeah.
Oh, we got hey, Crystal, that's my friend. Crystal. She asked what's my biggest pet peeve. I have like so many. I have so many pet peeves. I think my biggest would be um oh man. My biggest would be someone, I think punctuality. Like somebody taking advantage of my time. You know, if they say they're going to be here, I expect them to be there and to be there on time and to be ready to go. I can't.
Right.
Being unprepared. That's my biggest. Oh my gosh, that's my biggest. Being unprepared. That's it.
Yes, that drives me crazy. And my
Crazy.
thing is this: if you're going to do something, make sure you're prepared. Even for me, I have to prepare for like for our interview. I had to make sure I did research on you and
Yes.
everything because I've seen interviews where people do interviews and it's just like your mind is all over the place and you
Yeah.
don't know the facts. When I did my interview with Vanessa Williams, that was one of the biggest interviews that I've ever
Wow.
done in history.
Yeah.
Until this day, people are still talking about it.
Yeah.
I had to do a lot of research, stayed up hours and hours at night,
Yes.
making sure that I had everything right on this woman before I introduced her or anything. Because
Absolutely.
going into this business as a talk show host, as a journalist, you have to make sure that you are on it. And that's why I
Yes.
stopped covering certain topics. I said, I'll let this person cover it. I'm not going to put anything out here as a talk show host because
Yeah.
I want people to know the truth more than anything with
That's exactly
facts and
right.
evidence. And
That's
that's
exactly right.
what I've learned, and that's why I am the way
Yeah,
I am. Hmm.
that's right. That's cool. But you have to be that way. You have to be prepared for, especially when you're stepping into that realm. I think the
Oh,
biggest thing that I've done, I was on USA Snake in the Grass. It was a competition show, another competition show that I was on, but I was thrown into it. But it was so I was so prepared for it because of everything that I've gone through in my life. That's one thing. Like all of the acting classes and then all of the experiences that I had. It prepared me for that, to be thrusted into that competition and do fairly well because I can read anybody like a book. That's just who I am. I just sit back and I don't say much. I just kind of look at them and check them out.
observe.
But
Yeah,
right, I'm super observant. But it actually helped me um, get onto that stage and actually do a good job. I think I was a little bit bothered by the end result of it, but it is what it is.
and that's another thing about me too. We both have that in common where we sit back and we observe things. We
Yeah,
just take it in. And I don't know whether it's the Scorpio in me. My mom's a Libra. So I guess I inherit that thing.
yeah,
When somebody does something to me, at first I would be like, okay, I gotta get karma. I gotta get karma.
right.
But Lauren Hill, who's one of my favorite female artists, she
Hmm.
said this when she was going because they asked her to come speak at a college.
Yeah,
And she said, I got to get the enemy. I got to get the enemy. And some people are
yeah,
like that, but it's just like, no, just sit back and let karma take its course. So I'm like,
that's right.
mm-hmm. So
That's
if my
right.
eyes
I just
go dark like
yeah.
this, I'm like, mm-hmm, your karma going to get you.
Yeah,
But
right.
I just sit back and I watch and observe. That's the
Yeah.
best way to be. Just
It's the best
sit
way to
back.
be. I agree. And once you observe, you can learn about you can learn everything you need to learn about a person. You only have to ask them a question. You see how they move, you see how they talk, and then, their true colors come out that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they reveal a whole lot about themselves. A person can reveal a whole lot about themselves just through their actions, through their
That's
energy and
absolutely
what
right.
they pursue to you.
Yeah.
So that's how I do it. I sit back and it's okay to have your reservations. And a lot of people, we're now in a day and age, we're now in the 20th century where everybody's like, okay, I got to catch up. I got to make sure that I play catch up. But it's just
Yeah.
like, no, just sit back. And I've learned that along the way too. Just sit back and just be patient and take your
Yeah.
time. Don't rush it. I mean, that's something that I'm still working on along the way as I go. And a lot of people
Right.
say you're so young, you're so wise to be so young.
Yeah.
But Nate, you definitely can relate to that.
Straight
Yes.
up.
With Scorpio, we have that type of mentality where it's like we internalize things.
Yeah.
And then at the right moment, at the crack of dawn, it's just like, okay, we're not going to get you. We're going to let karma get you. We're just going to
I've
sit
met,
back and we're going to watch and we're going to observe. Yes.
yeah, I've met too many
But,
Scorpios that way. I understand. I can vouch for that. Yes.
and my mom, she's the same way, but it's the complete opposite. See how I'm calm and reserved versus how I was when I first started, where I'd be like, I'm going to get you. And Nate knows me very well.
You're right.
I'll be ready to retaliate.
Yeah.
But that's the same type of energy that my mom gets. So I think she rubbed off on me a little bit, but now I'm a little bit more mellow with my petties.
Yeah.
I just sit back and just let people and just observe and let God take his course. Because I'm a firm believer that whatever you do something wrong to somebody, or you hurt somebody, or you say something about somebody, I'm guilty of this too. I've said things that I didn't mean, done things I didn't mean to do. But it just came back, and karma will bite you. And then once you get up, because one thing I do in the morning, one of my rituals that I do in the morning is I look in the mirror and I say an affirmation to myself.
Yes.
And that's first thing before I get up, even wash my face or anything or prep.
Right.
So I always say an affirmation, but that guilt, that conscience, yes, Lord, it will come back and it will haunt you.
Will come back.
And a lot of people realize that whatever you hurt somebody, it's going to come back to you on the end result. Times two, you will start feeling guilty.
Oh, absolutely.
And at the end of the day, they'll be like, well, why did I do this to this person? And it's just like, what is wrong with me? Why do I feel depressed? Why do I feel angry? And it's because guilt. That's why. Guilt. You hurt somebody and you have to face the consequences for your actions. So
eventually everybody has to face their actions. Everybody has to face those consequences. So that's why you gotta live the way you need to live. You wanna live a righteous life, like you're gonna have righteous things. I think you'll get a little bit of, you get a lot of grace that way. You can move through life a little bit easier if you treat the people the way you want to be treated, no matter how they look, no matter what they say. Sometimes silence is key. So it's okay. It's all right. That's not being passive. That's not being weak. That is being smart sometimes. So, I think moving through life like that, it helps you. It helps you get through life a little bit easier. And you ain't worried about nobody. You just kind of keep pressing on. You keep moving on.
And I've learned that you've had to bite your tongue through certain things. You can't say or do certain things in this business.
That's right.
And I just sit back and I, take it in the moment.
Right.
And just embrace it, whatever it may be. So,
absolutely. It teaches you, there are a lot of people that you get into some circles with that, they say you can't talk. But, it's once you're once you're silenced, that makes you be very strategic about when you are able to speak, how you, how you articulate yourself and how you convey it. Like, get that thing across quickly and don't beat around the bush. Get from point A to point B quick.
Right.
Yep.
And that's something that I put on my vision board. The word that I put on my vision board, and I'm looking at it now, is dare. Dare to speak up, dare to be bold, dare to make career moves.
That's right.
Something acting or hosting a talk show or a platform is something that you want to do. You follow through with this. There's so many people out here that can mentor you. And I know my mentor, shout outs to her, Miss Melody XOXO, always gives me advice and pointers. I know that I can text her or text my brother K-Tubes, or shout outs to CTV, Conscious TV. Also, Conscious gave me some advice over the weekend. I wasn't feeling my best. I was very down and depressed, and Conscious gave me some advice. So I always reach out to my colleagues, my peers who host platforms and do the same thing that I do. They have talk shows and podcasts and things. And it's always great to reach out to your peers who've been through what you've been through and understand.
That's right.
Very, very
that's being grateful for, what God put into your life. That's showing, all right, thank you for that. Thank you for these people. And I'm going to use them as much as I can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So do we have Any questions, fashion dolls? While you guys are typing your questions, I'm going to drop the Women's History Month fact of the day. Since we're sitting with the model, our woman of the day that we're honoring is also a supermodel, and she broke barriers for models of color. So today's woman that we're honoring is none other than Gail O'Neill, and she has graced the cover over 250 magazine covers. Can you guys believe that? She's done
Wow.
Vogue magazine, she's done Essence magazine, and she is one of the top models that have become a television journalist. She broke barriers for models of color to get into the fashion industry. And she's been on covers of leading magazines in the fashion world like Vogue and Harper's Bazaar. And she's also signed a contract with Revlon Cosmetics along with Veronica Webb and Halle Berry as the third woman of color.
Wow.
So she's broken so many barriers. So shout outs to Gail O'Neill. Salute, Queen. We salute you for breaking barriers for women of like myself to get into this industry and models of color like Brandon here to break barriers in the fashion world, because we know that it is still a lot of diversity that we are still trying to push for in this fashion industry. And there's a documentary out here called Supreme Models, which covers so many of the top models that were in the 80s and the 90s that are so iconic, like Beverly Johnson, Iman. And Iman is actually the creator of this. So it's called Supreme Models. It's on YouTube. And it talks about models of color. And I've sat with supermodels here on my platform, from Connie Fleming to a good friend of mine, Cara Young, who's walked the catwalks alongside Naomi Campbell and so many others, who's also was contract with Revlon Cosmetics. She was one of Revlon's unforgettable women. I sat with Mimi Roche, Carol Miles, who's walked for the great Terry McGlair. Connie Fleming, who's also walked for Terry McGlair. So yes, these women are the blueprint for me getting into the fashion world and understanding what it takes to have representation. So salute to all of these dynamic women that I just named, and salute to you, Gail.
Absolutely.
I had to give a rundown. I've interviewed them all. It's so many. I could go on and on, but it's so many that I can name. But I sat with these ladies, and I'm honored to have the privilege to get the knowledge that they spit on this platform.
That is
Each
amazing.
and every one of them.
That's amazing.
Prolific career. Yes.
Yeah.
So if we don't have, that was a little long-winded because yes, I had to run it down.
Hey, this is your show. You can be long-winded. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay, fashion dolls, and the final thought of the day. All right, are you guys ready for the final thought of the day while you guys are getting your questions ready for Brandon? The final thought of the day comes from iconic fashion designer Vera Wang, and she has a quote that goes like this: "Success isn't about the end result. It's about what you learn along the way."
That's right.
So whatever you put out here in the universe, believe that it is going to come to fruition. And I've had this happen here on my platform where I interviewed an actor back in, I want to say 2021. That was when the pandemic first hit. And he says, be on the lookout for something that I'm going to be on Netflix on. Fast forward a few days after we did our interview, he's in the Wu-Tang trailer.
Wow.
So it just goes to show you the power of manifestation. Whatever you put out there in the universe will happen and come to. And I know some people are just like, the open the fortune cookie type mentality. Oh, I don't believe. But me, I believe in it.
Yeah.
So if you manifest something, it's going to happen. I set a goal back in January of the new year, and it came to fruition. I said, I'm going to complete my goal of 400 interviews, and it happened.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
400.
We are now at 416 interviews, you guys.
God. So I'm thankful that you let me be a part of that. Thank you for that.
Yeah. This is the 416th interview.
That's awesome.
You guys. It's because you believed in me. It's because you supported along the way. Yeah. You're always tuning in, whether it's to see the outfit of the day, the look of the week, or whatever, who the guests are, to get the knowledge. That's why people mainly tune in, to see fashion.
Right.
The fashion part is me because I'm always changing up my look, evolving, and reinventing myself.
That's good.
And the guests, they tune in to see the knowledge that my guests are spitting on this platform. And there's so many people that are good colleagues of mine, like Nate, who's worked in the fashion industry, who's designed for celebrities and so much more. Fire by Nate. So make sure you guys go and check him out. Black designer.
Yeah, check him
To
out.
see
Yeah.
how far he's come, where he's at in his career. I'm proud of him. And it's
Right.
because he's manifested. He's been here on this platform and he's co-hosted with me when we were discussing topics. This was back in 2021.
That's all.
So to see how far he's come, his growth is amazing. And it's
Yeah.
because he manifested, he put something out there in the universe. So when you have a vision, you set your mind forth to it. And it's
Absolutely.
the same for anybody who has a dream of becoming actors. I've reached out to so many actors who want to come on the platform, and it was like, you want to interview me? You want to interview me?
I'm going to be honest with you. When you reached out, I was like, why you want to interview me? I'm a nobody. I'm just a little peon. I mean, things have changed since then, but I'm just saying, like, that's, we sometimes don't see our importance. Other people, we can't look at ourselves and say, oh, we're important. People see what we're doing, and I'm glad that you recognize that thing.
During New York Fashion Week in September, see, look at God.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And that's because of manifestation. I wouldn't say I'm a good luck charm. Whatever you had is within yourself. You believe in yourself, and you continue on. You push on through all the obstacles, because it goes back to what me and Brandon were saying in the beginning of the interview, which is especially for us as people of color in the business, whether it's acting, fashion, or beauty, we are going to face some sort of obstacles that are going to hold us back, to hinder us. We've been told that we need to go through the other side for so long. We need to go to the other side. You can't walk through this, just go through the other side.
Right.
And I mentioned Hattie McDaniel because she was the first African-American woman to receive the Academy Award. Best Supporting Actress. And she was told all her life that, you can't enter through this door. You have to go through this door, this door. And she broke barriers for women like Holly Berry, for Shirley Ralph, and which would have been, I ain't even going to get into it because I'm still in my feelings about it. I'm still in my feelings about it. Angela Bassett.
Right.
You know.
We ain't going to talk about it. Go ahead. We ain't going to talk about
it. Yes. I love Jamie Lee Curtis, but Angela should have took it. This was her year, and Time Magazine messaged her called her the Woman of the Year.
Yeah.
This would have solidified her.
Right.
So she's so gratefully devoted through everything she's done throughout her career.
That's right.
Yeah, it just goes that we still have to push doors open. When we have so many things and so much representation out here for shows like the NAACP and so much more, we invent our own thing, do our own thing. And I'm thankful for the likes of Brandon, so many other actors and actresses of color that I've interviewed here on my platform. So
that's right.
I've had actors be like, I'm taken aback. You want to interview me? You sat with some big names, and I'm like, listen. The misconception is that all I interview is celebrities, and I'm just like, I interview everybody that is doing something unapologetically black. If they look like me and they're in this business and they're on television, you better believe that me as an African American woman, I'm going to give them a platform to showcase whatever it is to African American viewers at home who are watching Style by Stevie, or who in any diversity is watching Style by Stevie.
Yes. Well, I will say this. There was I spoke about The Lyric. The Lyric is a movie that I was a part of, and Gavin's here. He's one of the actors that are in it. That's in it. And, we have my Damage, Reg, he wrote the script and he sent it to me, and it's about, you should really watch it. I think everybody across the platform will be very impressed with it. And, not only the message that it conveys, it speaks to the plight of, a certain section of people who are really frowned upon in this United States of America, and some bad things that have happened to them. So I want you to really look at that. And I want you guys to kind of really dive into it. I think right now it's on Peacock, actually. It got picked up and it's on Peacock right now. It's called The Lyric. Check it out. And it's going to be, I think you'll be very impressed with it.
All right. You guys go and check that out. I definitely will be watching after this interview, because I've been watching a lot of film directors and producers on TV as well too. So I definitely will go check this out. You guys heard it here. Make sure you guys go check out Brandon and The Lyric. Check him out in BMF, and also check him out in Atlanta if you guys have not.
Wait till you see what comes up in the next 2 months.
All right. There you go. So you guys stay tuned. Do we have any questions for Brandon before we wrap up? And Brandon, while everyone is typing their thoughts for questions, are there any words of wisdom or gems that you would like to take for people to take away on Transformation Tuesday?
Transformation Tuesday. That's a good set. So that's a good segue into, not transforming your life, but, manifesting your life. Keep your mind set on what you want to do. Don't keep your mind set on what people say. Keep your mind set on what you want to do, because all the power that's inside of you can keep you going in the right direction. All the distractions that people bring into your life, all it's going to do is just set you back 3 steps. You have 17 seconds. 17 seconds to make a decision. And in those 17 seconds, trust yourself and trust your intuition and trust that little voice that's inside and that feeling that you have in your heart every single time. You are not stupid. You are not too old. You are not too young, and you're not too short. You're not too big. You are just the way you're supposed to be. If you want to go into it all in. And I think everything else will fall into its place. Go all in, trust yourself, trust that voice that's inside of you.
Yes. And follow your gut intuition. If you know that something doesn't feel right or this is not something that you want to do, go with your gut instinct. Your gut won't lead you wrong. And I've been into situations where it's just like, okay, leap, do it. But if it doesn't feel right, don't leap, don't do it. And I've had to make some serious career choices where it's just like, okay, is this what you want to do? Because you know you'll attract a certain age. Or is this what you want to do? And I'm like, no, I'd rather stay right here with this option right here, which is to continue to bring joy to people, to more importantly, educate us also. Well, that's what I would rather.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, Fashion Dolls, if we don't have any questions, let's see you guys haven't typed anything. Without further ado, Brandon, let everyone know where they can follow you and check you out.
All right, so follow me on Facebook, Brandon Horton. That's my name. It's not a stage name. That is my government name. You can follow me on Instagram at BHAM1037. You can catch me on BMF. You can catch me on Atlanta. You can catch me on USA's Snake in the Grass, Ellen's Game of Games. A couple of more things that are coming up. Have a really big hosting gig coming up. So that's going to be exciting. And then I probably have about 2 more things that I can't talk about because I've signed NDAs. So you will see those come out. And I just thank you for being supportive of me. And, I think I don't take this for granted. I thank you for the platform that you have. And, I mean, I welcome you in with number love. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. We definitely would love to have you back on again to discuss these future projects.
Yes.
All right, Fashion Dolls. Joining me tomorrow, we have another actor. It's going to be an amazing week. We have a great lineup. Joining me tomorrow, we have Kent Sanders. He will be here tomorrow. And we have a girl talk this week with actress Tanisha Lynn. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that, all right? We love you all. Make sure you guys tune in and follow Style by Stevie. Congratulations, Brandon. You're a superstar.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Yes, make sure you guys head on over and subscribe to Style by Stevie Daytime. Make sure thank you. The talk show page is flourishing. Thank you all. So
there you go.
I will post the link so you guys can go and like the talk show page, Style by Stevie, on Facebook. All right. So be on the lookout of my stories. Make sure you guys are following my stories because I post a lot. You guys know that I'm a fashion girl. So you'll see all sorts of fashion in my stories.
That's right.
But more importantly, you will see the link to the Style by Stevie talk show page. Be on the lookout for the clip of the day and subscribe to Style by Stevie Daytime. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow at 4. Take care, everyone.
Peace.
Take care.